Hi, it's Felicia from Adventurous Living, and welcome. I am so happy that you're here. You've probably come here by way of my website, or you got the book Adventurous Living Unlocking the Adventure in Your Everyday Life. Whatever way you came here, I'm just glad that you are here. Yes, my name's Felicia. I'm an author. I'm also a coach, a trainer. I get to do speaking and training all over the world, but this is where I want to be right now, here with you, talking about one of my favorite topics. Is one of my favorite things is mornings. We're going to be talking about developing a morning routine, your morning routine. And it's really needs to be important that the emphasis is that it's your morning routine. You know, what other people may do and some things that I note in this workshop may not be for you, and that's okay. It's about what works for you and how you are going to make the most of your morning so that you can make the most of your day. And it's really not that difficult. A lot of times we make it more difficult, but anytime we're trying a new habit, we're going to have a little resistance. So just expect that. But if you're here, I know that you're serious about developing your morning routine. So let's get to it. Why is a morning routine so important? So glad you asked. Well, think about it. Our mornings dictate usually the whole course of our day. You know, if we wake up and something happens and we're in a bad mood, doesn't a lot of that time that it impacts your whole day, you know, unless you take a hold of it. Or maybe you're on the other side where, you know, every day is like the same, like Groundhog's Day. You get up, you do this, you do this. A lot of times you don't really remember what happened in your day, and it's just completely an automatic pilot, completely in reaction to the things that are happening in life. And you're living more out of reaction to life than intentional living, which we've all fallen into. But when we can start taking our mornings and beginning to focus and being like, this is how I want my day to go, this is what I want to do in the morning, and it doesn't take that much time. It takes as much time as you want to allot to it. Again, we'll get to that down when we get to the steps of creating yours. But when you can start doing that, you're going to start seeing changes in your life. You're going to start feeling different and really enjoying your days. Because think about it. Your days, you know, the hours in your day, that makes up the weeks of your life, right? So every day adds up. And then weeks turn into months. And then those months turn into years. And those years turn into decades. And that's what makes up our life. So if we can make the most of every single day by first taking the miracle, the magic of what happens every morning, being able to determine our focus, being able to be like, this is how I want to show up. This is how I want to feel today. This is what I want to do. You know, all of those things, just imagine how that will impact your life. And there is a ripple effect. You know, anytime we start doing things and implementing them in our life and we have transformation, it begins affecting all of those around us without us even trying. So there is a cause and effect. There's a cause and effect that happens in your life, but then also those that are around you are impacted. So let's get to it. All right. Now, let me catch myself a little bit. Before we get into the steps in developing your morning routine, let's talk about some of the struggles with a morning routine. What I hear from so many people is, I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. I'm a night owl. And I get it. I get it. There are some people that are legitimately wired to be more creative at night, more awake at night. Guess what? A morning routine doesn't mean you have to wake up at 5 a.m. It doesn't. It's about taking a chunk of time in your morning, you know, whether you already have some time that you can already, you know, allot, or if it means waking up at first just 5 minutes early. It really doesn't take that much time to start implementing it. But trust me, you can do it. You can do it. But you want to check your language, because if you go into it saying, I am not a morning person, guess what? Our words and our beliefs are very powerful. In fact, they dictate our behavior. So if you go into it saying that, you're not going to be a morning person. When you wake up, you're going to be really fighting it. Maybe even if you say that in the morning, like, I'm not a morning person, guess what? You've just put that on yourself. So change your language. Say, I can do this. I am going to make the most of my mornings. So a lot of times it's just language. A lot of times we're making it way harder than it is. And so don't do that. Don't make it any harder than it is. You can do it. Now, with me, I have always liked mornings. I'm not sure if that was completely built in me, but I did have, or if it was a result of having an experience when I was about 5 years old. And my grandma, who I was never really close to, but she did give me this one experience and this one gift that stayed with me forever when I was 5 years old. She woke me up, she was visiting for the summer, and she woke me up to watch the sunrise. So we got up in the dark, and I thought it was the most magical thing I'd ever experienced. And so from the time I was 5, I've always loved the mornings and sunrises. Even when I went through a very crazy time in my life when I was a teenager and young teen and partying all the time, and that's a whole other story, but even when I would be partying till 4 or 5 in the morning, I'd be like, I'm just going to stay awake and watch the sunrise. And all my friends would think I was crazy. But that's how much I love them. So I've always liked mornings, and I love waking up in mornings. But it doesn't mean that I had a morning routine. I didn't. So I would wake up because I didn't like to be rushed, and I'd love to just, again, see the sunrise, have my coffee. But I didn't do anything with the day. The rest of my day in my life was still an automatic pilot. I wasn't making the most of my morning. I wasn't being intentional. I wasn't focusing on what I wanted to do for the day. But then I read this book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I'll put that down there so you can see it. If you want to go deeper into developing a morning routine and understanding the power of a morning routine, ritual, however you want to call it, I strongly suggest getting that book, The Miracle Morning. When I read it and began implementing a routine to my life, and that was over 10 years ago, it literally changed my life. It changed my whole mood, how I was during the day, the things that I did. It was incredible. I was able to think more clearly because I was journaling in the morning. It literally changed my life, developing a morning routine. And now my morning routine goes with me wherever I go. If I'm in Haiti or Puerto Rico or, Jamaica, or anywhere I'm at traveling, if I'm just traveling anywhere, I'm always looking about where am I going to do my morning routine at. Anybody that knows me, anybody that travels with me knows that I do this. I'm going to go find a really pretty spot, either in the room, in a chair, or out in the lobby or outside. But it's that important to me because I know that it does impact my entire day, which impacts my life. So that's my story. I'm so excited for you to get into the steps in the next video for you to develop your morning routine. And maybe you already have one and you're wanting to add to it, refine it. Guess what? My morning routine has changed several times over the past decade, and more specifically the last couple of years. So anything you do is not put in concrete. Again, this is your morning routine. You're going to figure out what works for you, what doesn't, what you want to change. It's actually so much fun because you get to take the magic of your morning and you get to make it the best to work for you. And I love God with all my heart, and so it makes me have a reverence for the whole day and spend that morning making sure that I bring that day before Him and I make the most of it, because life is a precious, precious thing. And so I am so excited for you to get into the next steps and developing your morning routine. All right, we are going to begin creating your morning routine or ritual, whatever you want to call it. I know I was saying that it would be another video. I lied. It's just the next step. So let's get to it. First, I want you to take a moment, even if you need to stop and pause this video, and I want you to think about why. Why do you want to create a morning routine? What is it that you want to accomplish in it? What is it that you want your life to look like? What are the results that you want to come from it? So think about that. What is your why? Why do you want to develop a morning routine? Do you realize that it will change your life? It'll change your days and it'll change your life. A lot of times we think that changing our lives is like some huge step or some, really what we might consider a monumental change. And really, transformation, living our lives happens every little step that we take, every little inch of growth creates miles, so I congratulate you. I congratulate you for being here, for taking the time to do this, and that you are going to implement a morning routine because you are going to be in touch with your why, which you just identified. Okay, let's get to the steps. So step number 1, what time do you want to wake up? Very simple. What time do you want to wake up? Maybe you already wake up at the right time right now. Maybe you don't need to adjust it, and it's just taking some, like I said, remember I used to wake up a couple hours before at that time when I had to go to a 9-to-5 job, but I would literally space out for 2 hours. So when creating my morning routine, I didn't have to get up any earlier. It was just maximizing the time I had in the morning. So right now, step 1, what time do you want to wake up? Now, if you're already very pressed for time, you don't have any time, I know my niece always tells me that she literally wakes up like 5 minutes before she has to go to work, like leave for work. To me, that's crazy. But so do you need to allot some extra time? Do you need to wake up a little bit earlier? What time do you want to wake up? Starting out. Now, you don't have to wake up an hour before, 2 hours before. Even if you're, like you said, you're more of an evening person, and you're becoming more of a morning person, even just begin with 5 minutes. And you'll get more clear about that as we get through the other steps where you start adding what you'd like to be a part of your morning routine and how long you want to put towards it. But you can always start with 5 minutes and putting just 30 seconds, a minute to the different things that you're going to add to your morning routine. So what time do you want to wake up? That's step number 1. Step number 2, if you are waking up earlier, what do you need to do to accommodate for your sleep? Sleep is very important for our mornings. Our morning routine is impacted by our sleep. Our lives and our health are impacted by our sleep. So you need to decide, do you need to go to bed a half hour earlier to get that 7-8 hours of sleep? Some people need 10. I will make a side note about sleep. For maybe those of you that are, grinders, workaholics, love to be awake way longer than your sleep. I am that person and was that person that was convinced that I just needed 5 hours of sleep, 6 max. It's only until the last couple of years, honestly, that I've been open to the fact that no, we do need sleep. I didn't realize I was waking up tired my entire life and just pushing through it. But we do need sleep. So make sure to get at least 7-8 hours of sleep. Find out where your sweet spot is with your sleep hours. But sleep is important for health and for how you're going to show up for your morning routine in your day. Okay, so do you need to accommodate any sleep? That's step number 2. Step number 3, this is the good stuff. This is the meat and potatoes. You get to decide what you want to put into your morning routine. You get to decide what it is that you want to incorporate that's going to make your morning, your day amazing. Now, I'm going to list off a whole bunch of things. So whatever sticks out to you, make a note. You're also going to have a worksheet that'll help you decide that as well. But note the things that you absolutely want a part of it, and then maybe later on down the road when you're able to add a little bit more time, maybe add some more. And then I'm going to share my morning routine and the things that I think actually just are kind of absolutely necessary for a very impactful morning routine. All right, so let's think about what you want in your morning routine. Do you want to you're going to drink a glass of water when you wake up. Let me be clear about this. When you begin your morning routine, you have you have a lot of time set apart. So maybe the first thing you do is drink an 8-ounce glass of water. A lot of times we wake up dehydrated because we've been sleeping. We haven't been drinking any water. So we do wake up dehydrated. So drinking a glass of water. Do you want to incorporate movement? Do you want to incorporate movement into your morning routine? You can actually think, do you want your actual workout to happen during that time? If you are a working out person, 15-minute workout, 30-minute workout, do you want that to be? Or movement can be just a minute of stretching, 5 minutes of stretching, minute of yoga, 5 minutes of yoga. Do you want movement? to be part of your morning routine. Goals and visualization. This is what I believe is a must. What are your goals? What are your goals for your life, your day? Looking at them, saying them out loud, visualizing what it would be to accomplishing those goals. I use I am statements along with my goals, meaning I am statements or affirmations are the same as affirmations, but you attach your 5 senses to it. I cover that in my adventure course, where we talk about limiting beliefs, renewing the mind, and I am statement. So, but very powerful. So do you want to incorporate that? Do you want to incorporate looking at your goals, visualizing them, and doing affirmations? Reading. Do you want to do some reading in the morning? I do some reading. I do 5 minutes of reading of a book, but then I also do 5 minutes of reading of the Bible. So 5 minutes reading the Bible, 5 minutes reading a book. You can have less time, more time, if that's something that you want to incorporate in your day. The next one would be journaling. Would you like to journal in the morning? Just write out your thoughts, write out, what you're grateful for, just incorporating journaling. A lot of times when we can just get those things out on paper, it lightens us up, gets us more clarity, and really impacts our day and our life. Do you want to take a shower in the morning? Is that part of your morning routine? An ice shower, a cold shower that really wakes you up. Do you want that to be part of your morning routine? Do you want to have looking at your day's tasks as part of your routine, where you're looking at and being very clear of like, okay, I'm going after this, and this. Or if I get this one thing done today, this is going to be a great day. Or if I spend, having this much time with my kids, it's going to be a great day. So paying attention to what you want your day to look like, and the tasks that you want to accomplish. So tasks, day. Do you want that? You looking at your day. Prayer or meditation. Do you want to pray in the morning? Do you want to meditate? Do you want some time of silence? Remember, these are just listing off things. I'm sure some things are jumping off to you and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to incorporate that. And some you're like, not so much, not me. That's great. It's whatever is pulling towards your heart, whatever it's pulling towards your intuition of what you want to have in your miracle, magical morning. Supplements. Do you want to have time of taking supplements as part of your morning? A skincare regimen, self-care can be part of your morning routine. Could be making your bed before you step out and do your morning routine, because a lot of times that can be symbolic. When we're getting our bed together, we're kind of like very intentional getting our life together, So those are some things. Now you can feel free to add things to your morning routine as well. This isn't limited. These are just some ideas. So have you written down some things that you're thinking about putting on your morning routine? Great. Maybe circle the ones that are really sticking out to you and you're like, oh, these are must-haves, and these are on like maybe later. Again, because this is all adapting, and if you've never done it, you're going to figure out what your real sweet spot is. And you're like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm going to do this or add more time to this, moving forward. Or you'd be like, you know what? I really don't like this part of it. And that's great. It's all about developing what works best for you. Okay. So we've done step 1, 2, and 3. Step 1 is what time do you want to wake up? Step 2 was, do you have to accommodate any type of sleep for that to meet your new wake up time, if you have a new wake up time. So step 2 is kind of optional, if it's applicable. Step 3 was deciding on the things that you want to implement into your morning ritual. And then step 4 is, where do you want your morning routine to take place at? What is the environment? I can tell you for me, if I'm at home in Phoenix, I have my couch, I have these great big windows that look out into my patio where there's greenery and birds. And so I open my blinds and I sit there on that couch and do my morning routine, other than my stretching. But that is where mine takes place. And again, when I travel or do anything else, once I get there, or even when I'm booking a place, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where my morning routine is going to take place. So where do you want your morning routine to take place? Do you want to have it take place outside? Do you have a special part of your bedroom or your living space? Or where is it that you want to have your morning routine to, happen? And have it be a pleasant experience. Make sure that you look forward to it. It's a place that you can just be and embrace and get the most out of everything that you are going after with your morning. So that is step 4. All right. So step 5 is, how much time do you want to allot to the items that you for sure want part of your morning? So let's say you had stretching, writing, reading. Stretching, how much time do you want to do that? Now, before you'd already decided, maybe you're going to wake up 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier. Sometimes when we start putting the things in our list, it kind of makes us tweak, like, oh, maybe I could get up 5 minutes earlier. But again, you can start with 5 minutes, and I mean it. So you can have a minute of stretching, 2 minutes of reading, a minute of writing, a minute of looking at your goals and visualizing them. See how easy that is? So right now, I want you to stop and decide what is the amount of time that you want to put towards each one of those. Okay. Now, when you're doing your morning routine, I would suggest setting a timer. Set a timer for the things that you're doing. If you want to journal for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, set a timer on your phone and do it. You're going to see, like, oh my gosh, sometimes time goes way quicker than you really realize, but getting a minute in of looking at your goals, trust me when I say your whole day, you're going to know what you're going towards. You're going to know what you're going after. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time. All right, so now you've decided how much time you're going to allot to the different things you've put in your morning routine. Now the next step. All right, the next step is step 6. And that is assessing. Once you've begun your morning ritual, after about a week or 2, figure out, take a time. First, do give it some time. Test it out. Don't give up on it or want to tweak things really soon, because you were drawn to those things in the first place and you're drawn to the times you were in the first place. But again, if there's something you want to change right away, no harm, no foul. But do give some time to really, because sometimes it's just a new habit we're developing, and sometimes we'll take, being uncomfortable or resistance to developing a new habit as this just isn't working for me. But if it's something that you really want to have a part of it, give it some time. Again, though, after a week or 2, sit down and assess and be like, what's working good? What am I loving? What's not maybe working so well? Or maybe do I want to add some more things that I had wanted to do before to my morning routine? How are the time frames for each thing? Remember, each thing doesn't need the same time frame, same time allotted to it. So again, it's assessing, tweaking. If what you picked in the beginning was awesome for you, great. Got a winner. For most of us though, it's a constant adjustment. It's a constant reevaluating, like everything in our life, our goals, our time, and adjusting to making it work for the best for where we're at in our lives in that time. All right, step 7 is to set a goal for your morning routine. And I'm going to tell you right now, first goal to make is just to do it the next morning. A lot of times we put these unrealistic, like, I'm going to wake up at this time, for the next month. And guess what? When we're developing a routine, a new habit that we're not comfortable with, it can be difficult. The more you can celebrate and build confidence, the more likely you are to continue with that habit and have it become a part of you, where then it's just habit, habitual. You're not going to be fighting it anymore. So I would suggest with just the first day. So I'm going to start my morning routine tomorrow. That's my goal. I'm going to wake up at this time. And when you do that, celebrate the heck out of it. Celebrate the fact that you got up and you rocked your morning routine. And then do that for the next day. And then, yes, build up to like the next week, I'm waking up at this time. Or maybe you start setting a goal to wake up even earlier, because you're realizing just how much you're getting from the benefits of having a morning routine. So that's step 7 is setting a goal for your morning routine. All right, so here's my morning routine. I'm going to share it with you. And it's changed over the years. So this is what it is right now. First, what I do is I get up and I don't hit snooze. That was hard. I don't hit snooze. I used to have like 5 alarms that wake me up, but I realized that wasn't working well. And I just didn't want to have the mentality that I was snoozing on life. You know, I don't want to have a life where I want to snooze. And if it's from me not getting enough sleep, then I need to make sure that I need to correct that. But then I usually put my phone far away from me. I set my alarm on my phone, but I put it away, like not right next to me where I have to get up and turn it off. And then I start off with my first 5 minutes. I do get my coffee first. I am a coffee drinker. I love coffee. I love coffee. So I don't really consider that part of my morning routine. That's just part of my life. But I get my coffee and I sit down and I begin. And I have 5 minutes of prayer and silence. That's what I first do. 5 minutes of worship. 5 to 10 minutes of a Devo. And that's to help me really just get in tune with God. That is me. And then I have 5 minutes of reading. 5 minutes of reading a book, usually a personal growth book. So right now I am reading actually the bullet journal. I'm a bullet journaling person. If you want another book to read, if you have planners and journals for everything, and you love to write out things, I highly suggest getting the Bullet Journal Method book and beginning the bullet journal. But that's a whole other story. I spend 5 minutes of looking over my goals and visualizing them and doing I am statements for them. And that's where I'm saying whatever my I am statement is, my affirmation is for those specific goals I'm going after hard after in that season of my life, and visualizing them, attaching my 5 senses. What does that look like, smell like, sound like, taste like, and I'm missing one, but whatever, the 5 senses. So I attach the 5 senses to them. And then I spend 5 minutes of looking over my quarterly goals along with my monthly goals. And I do jump up and I dance for a minute to get my body going. And that's how I do it. I used to incorporate my workouts in the morning. So I was like, let me knock it out first thing in the morning. If you've ever read that book, Eat That Frog, talks about knocking out the things that you really, the biggest things or things you don't want to do the most in the morning. And so I did do that for like 8 years. But what I've realized now is that morning times for me are my most creative and productive times mentally. And so doing my workout was taking away from me having those blocks of time in the morning where I'm really just able to create and work efficiently and effectively and in a groove. So right after my morning routine, I begin working. I do 2 45-minute blocks. I work for 45 minutes, take a 15-minute break, mental break, get out, move, do whatever, return, do another 45 minutes, and then I eat my breakfast. That's me. And then I do my workout after another 45-minute, work block after I've eaten breakfast. That's me. That is what I found worked best for me after doing my morning routine for so long. So that was my morning routine. Okay, so there you have it. You have all the tools and steps to create a morning routine that's best for you. This is what I want you to do. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to be excited that you get to wake up in the morning and you get to have a say-so in what your day looks like. That is intentional living. That is about making the most of every day. Now, will there be times that it's challenging? Will there be times when you don't do it? Yes. What you don't want to do is don't beat yourself up. If beating yourself up or beating any of us, if any of us could beat ourselves up and it changed anything and made us better people, gosh, we'd be the most successful people on the planet, but it doesn't. Celebrate that you have done it before and know, like, guess what? I'm going to do it tomorrow. And even if it's that you just wake up 1 minute and you implement one thing, celebrate that. Make it fun. Don't make it harder than it is. Okay? Do set goals for them and continue to do the steps. Keep going after it. Every single step that you take makes a difference. your mornings can be so magical, even if you're an evening person. So I congratulate you. I'm so happy that you went through this workshop. Take it, implement it. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you're having any type of resistance, shoot me an email, adventurousliving@gmail.com. But I'm here rooting for you, and I cannot wait to hear how your mornings start going and how it impacts your life. So thank you for being a part of the workshop.